Yeah guys, thanks for stopping by. Today I'm in the process of doing an oil change on the Pajero here behind me. Now the reason I'm giving this a shot is I've had a bit of luck recently with the Liqui Moly products. I've been pretty impressed with them thus far. This one is the Engine Flush Plus. I did use the diesel purge and I was pretty happy with the results with that. I didn't see a great deal of improvement there. I think my injectors and all that sort of stuff were pretty well clean. I know the guys on the Pajero forum have had a bit of luck with that. And I've been pretty impressed with the results as far as the clean there. And recently I did the intake cleaner as well, the diesel intake cleaner. Link to the video up there at top and down there below in the description. So because I was pretty happy with the results that I got from that, I did see, I think, probably a small performance improvement there. Certainly the car seems to be running a little bit smoother and a little bit easier on the acceleration. So I thought I'd give this a crack. Now I don't jump into these things usually too lightly, but I do like to give products a go. That said, I've watched a number of different videos online and there's lots of comments from, yep, I use it, great, never had any problems, seen improvements in the engine, the engine's running quieter, it's running smoother, you know, all of those sorts of things. But I've also seen people saying that you shouldn't use an oil flush or an engine flush, certainly on high mileage cars, because it may remove some carbon or something like that and possibly clogging up an oil line. One of the comments that I read, and I think this is where I stand, is that if these products were killing engines and there was the amount of it going on that some of the people seem to suggest happens, I think you'd know about it. I've done quite a few searches, haven't seen pages and pages of people saying that the engine flush has killed their engine, and I'm pretty sure if something like that was going on, we'd know about it. So a bit of a history on the car. I've had it for probably 8 or 9 months now, and it's just coming up to 200,000 kilometres. So it's a relatively high mileage vehicle. So we're going to chuck this in, give it a run, and see what happens. Now this review is not going to be scientific. Just wanted to let you know what I'm doing and give you a look at it. And if you're interested, you can see what happens for me. Instructions on this are basically to add it to your current oil, run the car for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then drop the oil out and replace the filter. So if you've got anything that comes out, you're going to capture that and you're going to remove it and get it straight out of the engine. Because I was going to do an oil change anyway, because after doing the intake cleaner, I really should have probably changed the oil sooner than this. It has been a few weeks, but I've been running it around and I've only just got around to doing this now. So I'm dropping it out, new filter, new oil, we'll see what happens. It says 300ml is sufficient for up to 5 litres. Now the diesel here is a common rail. It's Mitsubishi Pajero NT, so it's 2010 model. It actually holds about 9 litres, give or take, and this says it'll do up to 5. So I guess we're using a smaller amount than we probably need to, but obviously this is going to be good for a test case. And it just says to, you know, before you change out your oil, drop this in, let it run for about 10 to 15 minutes. Don't drive it. This is going to thin out the oil and you may have some issues if you do that, so just drop it in and let it idle for 10 to 15 minutes. Now the engine is warm. I have been out today, haven't been doing a lot of miles, but it is warm, so that should help it get into the oil that little bit better. Okay. And that's why I was thinking, wow, this is thicker than expected, but I haven't taken the cap out. Okay, that's about the consistency I expected. Now I have heard of other people doing, I guess, cheap jobs rather than using a store-bought one. I've heard all sorts of things from diesel to kerosene and throwing that in. I think somebody even said petrol. But to be honest, I'm going to stick with store-bought products. This is about 25 bucks I think I paid for this. And again, had, you know, good results with Liqui Moly. I've been happy with their products, and I guess I'm planning on probably checking out a few of their other things as well. Might even check out one of their additives or something later on. But anyway, we'll just let that drain for a sec, and then we'll start the car up. There we go. Take the cap with us. Doesn't have a particular smell as such. There's nothing that I can identify. Getting that stuff on my hands. Hopefully that's all right. Engine cap back on.
wouldn't
say there's any change to the idling. It's certainly not any louder due to the viscosity of the oil being changed. And of course we'll just set a timer and go with 12 minutes. Now the colour of the oil coming out is well and truly black. This has probably been in there for about 6,000 Ks. Now this is obviously nothing definitive, but anyway, just thought you'd like a look at the colour of the oil coming out. The pan that I've got doesn't actually take the whole lot, so I have to plug it back up, drain that out, and then get back under there again. But anyway, that's what it looks like. That's what the oil looks like in there at the moment. Now just tipping that out, I'm not seeing anything interesting in that oil at all. The black colour certainly doesn't give anything away. I know that after a previous oil change, this one actually, the oil certainly darkened up very, very quickly. So I'll be interested to see whether it stays I guess a paler colour and how long it takes to actually blacken up, whether this has actually removed any carbon or anything from the engine that might help that oil stay that little bit clear. Taken off our filler cap as well to let it drain out well. This is a second lot of oil we're taking out, and not seeing anything in particular in it. Nothing of note, nothing out of an ordinary oil change. It is quite black, but it's to be expected. Consistency still seems pretty good. Since it's just a fairly new car to me, I wanted to just make the change, just have a look at it, do the flush, and just basically do a check, make sure there was nothing going on that I needed to be aware of. And now it's time to top it back up. So we've got 10 litres here, and it normally takes pretty close to that. You'll find you get a lot of oil will come out of the oil filter as well when you drop that out. So be prepared. Don't think you're just going to drop the oil filter out and you're going to be able to just lower it down and then tip the oil out. It's not going to happen like that. As soon as you start to unloosen it, it's going to start to pour out oil, so have your catch can ready. Anyway, we'll jump in, we'll pour this in, we'll start it up, and we'll see what we think. This is the part I hate most about doing oil changes, is having a full thing of oil and trying to get it in there. I'm going to lay down some rag because inevitably I will spill some. I'm just going to get into that cover there. We have just started up, it's got fresh oil in it. Obviously that's always going to make some sort of difference, but to be honest, I'm not hearing anything different. And we'll take it for a quick spin and we'll see whether that's made any change there. But again, to be honest, I wasn't really expecting too much of a change, if at all. It really was just sort of a preventative measure. Just give it a flush out and figured it couldn't hurt. Okay, that's it guys, just taking it out for a spin, it's all done. To be honest, it feels like it's actually got a little bit more power. Not that that was an expectation. I think maybe I'm having some cumulative results with a few of the Liquid Moly products in that. So I've done the injector clean, or the diesel purge, we've done the engine flush, and we've done the intake there as well. So I think I'm actually starting to see a few improvements there. Whether it's cumulative, whether it's just my imagination, because you know, when you do things to cars, sometimes you think there's an improvement when possibly there is none. I'll be interested to keep an eye on the oil and just see how quickly that darkens up, because in the past when I've done oil changes, or the last oil change that I did, which I've actually realised is probably only less than 5,000 K, it's probably somewhere in the vicinity of 4.5. So it was quite black, so I'm interested to see how this oil goes and how quickly it gets dark. Obviously it's going to get dark with the diesel, but we'll see what happens. So look, at the end of the day, I didn't see anything in the oil. Anything that I felt as far as changed the way the engine was performing could literally be in my head, but you know, I'm happy I've done it. If there's some sort of catastrophic failure for putting this through a high kilometre engine, which is 200,000 kilometres, I'll let you know, and everybody will know not to do it. But in the meantime, look, I'm happy with it. I'm glad I did it. It was, $30 that I spent, that I was happy to spend. Take a chance on it and see what happens. So look, if you want to share your opinion on whether you think it's a good thing, bad thing, your results. Look, at the end of the day, I'm really interested in results from people who have done it. I appreciate differing of opinions, and you know, some people may have good experiences or bad experiences, but ultimately I want you to, if you're going to comment below, I'm really interested in your experiences, not what you've heard, not what you've read on a post or something like that. I guess that's why I post these up, is that I want to be able to show you what I have done, not what I've heard or not what I've read on a forum somewhere. So that's what I guess this channel's about a little bit, in that it's I like to get in and have a go at something. If I find something that's interesting, I want to get in it and I want to try it and I want to do it, and see what happens. It doesn't mean you can't do your research and check stuff out and make an informed decision, but unfortunately I think a lot of forums and stuff like that are full of people who just have an opinion on stuff when they haven't even tried it. On that note, opinions about things when people haven't tried it, I've actually got a throttle controller coming from China. It's a cheap one, 122 bucks. One of my mates has got the King's one, which I think he spent about $80 on, and he's also got the iDrive, and he reckons there's no difference. So I'm rolling the dice on a 122 buck one from China. It's a 9S, can't remember the brand, but we'll install that and we'll take that for a run, and I'll tell you what it's like. At the end of the day, we'll put it in and we'll just see what happens. There's a lot of naysayers on those ones, but hopefully we can present some evidence as to whether there's actually an improvement with the performance. I'm not expecting it to remove turbo lag, it's just not going to do that. I just want the throttle to be a little bit more responsive and hopefully get me out of onto roundabouts and out of the way of other cars. Sometimes it's caught me out a few times. Let's just say, look, just push the pedal harder, and we're going to try that. We'll see whether that's the case and whether you can get away with it and whether that's all it's doing, and we'll try it. We'll see what happens, and we'll see whether it actually makes an improvement, whether I'm impressed with it or not. For 100 bucks, I thought we'll give it a shot. Thanks very much for coming along, guys. Appreciate all the support, appreciate the subscribers who come on board. Love you to put some comments down below, and keep stopping by. Thanks very much. Cheers, guys.